So here we are for night 2 at the Gorge, and look at that, just before we get going here, and I was a little extra fired up from the get-go. I got out to see some live music tonight, saw Guided by Voices in Columbus, and then rolled that right into this, and boy, the Carini opener, getting another Carini opener, and then just a big trio to start the show, and then, not that this wasn't, but just like we've gotten some previous shows, Atlantic City and Deer Creek, and then the Carini jammed out a bit, and then to the Maze. No, I'm never going to be down on a Maze a little bit, but so similar to some other songs, a little bit different right now. Maze is, and I'm not going to say the same thing about 46 Days and Sand every time about how they're not just quite the same as they were. Still very good though. This is, I think maybe it was at Hershey that had the 46 Days, says, oh, it did the thing, and it had a very good jam, and then at the end, as they're wrapping it up, they just kind of rush through a quick little cool peak. So, you still get your peak, but it's not just slowly built through the jam into one big natural. So there we get that, and then now on to Esther. Boy, I think the first time we've gotten that since the dozen. Really welcome song, and that was on the drive home from the Guided by Voices show. We got this little quad here to start. Mary, a big fan of Esther, I wasn't sure, that turns out that's the way to get them, She was also, she had some questions about 46 Days, so that's a good sign right there. Esther pulling in got a new fan one over right there, and then 555, Mike Gordon getting his song right there in the first set, and then really, the Atlantic City had that entire first set. That was just like boom from head to toe. I just loved it. This would be like a little personal playlist of mine. If there was any, it's just crazy to say this, but Divided Sky Swept Away right here might have been a little bit of a down point. The Divided Sky was smoking. Swept Away Steep, always cool to hear. Then we get back in action with a very, very strong Boogie On Reggae Woman, but not ending to say, look, like I said, I could possibly have just circled the whole thing, circled the whole thing, really, and this chomper nonsense getting left off the list. Could have ended it there with a very strong Boogie On. It's very strong, but not lyrically. Trey really stumbling once again with the lyrics there at the Boogie On. Mary asking, how can you remember the 2000 lyrics to Esther, but then not remember how to get going in Boogie On? Once it gets going, though, he finds it, and then there's that first set. Man, look at that. What a beauty. And, again, I'm not going to complain about a Maze, but that could have been brought more fire. But then we follow that up with that, and then Esther coming at it. All right, we don't need to recap of the first set now, do we? So, boom, that's a highlight. This trio's a highlight. Esther, beloved at this point. Now we're going over here to set number 2. And Sand, like I said, same thing with 46 Days. Once again, a very cool Sand, but Sand just not delivering the way it did. But we're still going there, and then Down with Disease. It's going to come right there. What a natural home for Down with Disease right here. It's starting the second set, or second song in the second set. Then also we get Boom, we get that, then we kind of get this right here, and then this is kind of its own thing. So if you get those blocks, we get this right here, what you would kind of expect, Boom, and then taking a little shift for those two. Almost like in the direction we went last night for most of the show. Could have kind of done that right here too with Divided Sky Swept Away. Kind of pulling different direction for a different feeling. But Sam went Down with Disease, typical what you would kind of expect from those two. And then Prince Caspian, Mountains in the Mist. Mountains in the Mist delivered a very good jam, actually. But it just seemed like, oh no, we're going to drift back into this kind of what we got last night out of the What's the Use? Again, not that wasn't good, but... And then, not right around the 20-minute mark, Sense and Subtle Sound. I know there's some very good Sense and Subtle Sounds in 03. All four guys at some had their moments at this point. And then early on, I guess I should have also wanted to mention Fishman on this one, Mike on this one, and then all four guys on this one. They had their points. Bug, oh man, all right. They can't all, we're not going to crash it every time, but then the Bug, Possum, Ender, oh boy. After all of this amazing stuff, this amazing set, I was like, oh man, kind of, fuck Bug, Possum, all right, you got me once, not again. Bittersweet, all right, always going to be welcome. And then Heavy Things, all right, we got enough bust outs, all right, enough with this, come on. And then About to Run, so once again, ending it very strong. So after getting me hyped to start, getting me hyped all the way through there, ending it good with an About to Run. Let's take a look at it now. Like I said at the beginning, oh, where am I? I gotta be in there. Night 2 at the Gorge. That was probably our winner. Although this was a very solid start to the second set, very solid start to the first set. boom. It just happened again. I don't know what happens in these videos. I get through it, and then I start feeling kind of ridiculous. I'm like, what the fuck am I even doing here, man? And then it all just kind of comes to a crashing halt. And then I give you a boom, and then I smile, and then I hope you're back tomorrow. It's gonna antelope tomorrow, right? Antelope or hood? I hope antelope. I am ready to set the gear shift. Hood, get the shot, man. Harry.